Hello, everybody. So you probably don't know who I am. Actually, you very likely don't because I have no online presence whatsoever. But I decided I'd try to make this video because it'd be cool, to talk about stuff and stuff that's relevant to what's happening in modern society. Just to get something out there into the world. This isn't a video about me making videos, though. And yes, that's a piece of plywood. So yeah, I got the ultimate setup here. But I want to talk about AI, artificial intelligence, specifically what it is doing to us, well, I guess to me, or to us. I guess this is relevant to anyone that uses AI because, all humans share some physiological, anatomical similarities, right? I mean, we all have similar brains. Our brains work with neurons, and it's all basically the same, right? And the way we interact with the world is pretty much the same as well. I mean, you don't use a different. That's besides the point. AI is very new. It's a very new and very recent development. Or is it? Is it really? AI has been around for a while, actually, right? Wasn't there an AI that beat the world Go champion in like 1998? Let me see if that's true. Let me see if that's correct. What AI beat? I was about to use ChatGPT to look that up. That is crazy, bro. And that speaks exactly that speaks to the point that I'm trying to make. But anyway, I'm gonna see this first. What AI beat the Go champion? Is that what I'm thinking of? AlphaGo. There we go. It was in 2015. There's a lot to unpack here, honestly, when it comes to AI. AI is it's kind of wild, honestly. I'm no expert, right? I'm not an expert on anything. I'm not a genius. I'm not, some well-studied scholar. But I've done my fair share of enthusiast, like, rabbit hole diving. I mean, I've been on Wikipedia. I watch a lot of YouTube, so I know a little bit about what I'm talking about here. That's a fly on my monitor. Excuse me, sir. Oh, that was not a fly. That was a piece of dust. Okay. But yeah, AI is not that new as a concept. It's actually been around for a while. I'm pretty sure the first time AI was taken into consideration was when Alan Turing came up with a Turing test for a machine that could deceive a person at whether it was a person or a machine, something along those lines. But AI wasn't really that good. Actually, no, there was also a car. There was a car that used a basic, like a rudimentary visual AI to drive down a road. It was really slow, but this was in like the 20th century, so this is well before I was even born, right? So AI is not that new, but it sucked. For most of its history, AI has really sucked because we did not have we didn't have the computational power or the algorithms to allow it to grow and get really good, right? Like it is now in 2025. And that's what's crazy. In the past few years, not even few, since 2023 when Transformers were invented. They were probably invented a little bit earlier before that, but basically since ChatGPT in 2023 took off, AI has exploded. Like there are whole jobs just for AI work, just for training AIs. I mean, obviously, there's a whole industry around it now. Every major company, every tech company, my phone right here, this Samsung phone, there's AI built into this, whether I like it or not. I don't have a choice. I got AI for free because I'm a college student. So AI is everywhere. AI has completely infiltrated modern life. My microphone is lighting up. It's probably because I'm talking too loud. Let me turn it down. I'm going to edit this video just a little. It's probably going to be very all over the place. But I'm not going to. Anyway. I use ChatGPT basically every day. I have had more conversations with ChatGPT about basically anything, from food shopping to therapy sessions, than I ever have with any other person. That's probably because I'm kind of a lonely person, but that's a whole different thing. The point I'm trying to make is that ChatGPT and AI in general is here, and it is very, very good. It is very powerful. It's amazing at what it can do, and that's what makes it special. And I guess I'm going to dive into what I'm trying to get at here. AI is a tool, but it's a different type, a new type of tool. Throughout human history, what set us apart from animals was our ability to use tools, right? To apply our advanced intellect to the world and come up with better solutions for the problems we had to face. For example, you had to eat, right? You're a primate, you're a thing, you got to eat to stay alive, right? Well, we figured out that staying together and forming groups was a great way to ensure survival because you could delegate tasks among groups, right? You could have someone hunt for the group, you could have someone else raise the children. You could have someone make clothes and so on. But then we discovered we could actually grow food. So that was the agricultural revolution. There's another tool in our arsenal. But even before that, we discovered we can make tools out of rocks to cut things, and and that's how it worked throughout human history. I think this is my understanding, right? We kept on making better tools until we got to the point where we are today. We went from, having to pick berries and kill other things with our bare hands, to using rocks to do that for us, to growing our own food, to building domiciles in which we could reside without fear of weather and burning alive in the sun. Then we invented ships and not cars. We invented wheels. We invented even better weapons. We formed empires. We could farm massive amounts of food. Then we invented clothing. Well, we invented clothing before all this. We invented steam engines, we invented guns, we invented cars, we invented computers, we invented rockets, and now here we are. We can go to space. You got companies like SpaceX launching rockets every day. Our ability to use tools and to manipulate the world to do what we want it to do is unparalleled. There's literally no other being in the universe that we know of that could do what we do. But, and this is why AI is different. This is the first time we've outsourced ourselves to a tool. All these tools that I've mentioned, the guns and the cars and all that stuff, it did some discrete function that would take us a lot of effort, or it would be otherwise impossible for us to do, right? But AI is outsourcing thinking itself. The act of coming up with tools is being outsourced. And that's a little weird. There's a lot of things there's a lot of implications actually now that I think about it. I mean, what if AI keeps on making its own tools? What if AI makes its own AI, What if AI makes an AI, that makes an AI, that makes an AI, and they just keep making more and more and more until at some point it gets to a point where we cannot understand what it has created. It makes an AI that is so advanced and so beyond our comprehension that it just does whatever it wants and destroys the entire planet. Obviously, there's that fear, that AI is going to destroy the planet. The whole point of this is to say that AI is completely different. It's an unprecedented advancement. It's literally brand spanking new. We do not know how it works even. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes of an AI. We know how cars work. We know how the internal combustion engine works. We know how rockets work because we were implicated in developing these things, right? We were directly involved. We had to actually make the engines and design them. But AI, because it's intelligence itself, and we don't understand how our own intelligence works, we don't understand how it works. That's not the reason why, but the way AI is developed, as far as I understand, this is based on my very limited understanding from the 3 Blue 1 Brown videos and all that other stuff that I've watched and read. Basically, it's trained. It's grown like a seed. You develop an algorithm, right, that takes an information and then is meant to output some other information. Then you expose that algorithm to a bunch of other information, like text or images or videos or music or whatever. Then you fine-tune its outputs so that it matches the output you're trying to get. For example, you want an AI to generate an image of an apple, where you show it a bunch of pictures of apples. Eventually, it develops these neural connections that we don't understand that allow it to perceive an apple. And then you tell it to generate an apple, it will generate what it thinks an apple looks like based on what it's already seen. Basically, it'll do what it thinks is right? Based on what it's been trained to do. But we don't understand how it actually learns. We just understand the algorithm that's required to make it learn. This is as far as I understand. I'm no expert. I am not a genius. I don't understand the algorithm. I don't understand transformers. I just understand it at a surface level. And that's not really the point of this video, right? This is all pretext to what I'm about to talk about next. So, suffice it to say that AI is very powerful. We are outsourcing our own thinking to it. And that is unprecedented. We've never done something like that before. We've done it for other people, right? You've got people in society, like we've got therapists who, we outsource our problems to and they help us deal with them, right? Or we've got mechanical engineers who we outsource mechanical problems to and they'll solve them for us. But these are all things we can understand because we are implicated in doing these things. So my question, and the question of this video is, does using AI, a thing that we outsource our thinking to, does it make us dumber? And of course, as with any question, it's kind of difficult to answer if you don't have a solid premise, right? I mean, what does dumber mean, right? What is intelligence? There's a whole rabbit hole you could go down in defining our terms. But for the sake of this video, I guess you could say intelligence is a person's ability to do things based on, their environment. Like, for example, for me, I live in this environment. My ability to do things denotes my intelligence. If I can play the guitar like a god, I'm intelligent. I can play the guitar. I might not know math very well, which means I'm not intelligent when it comes to math. I guess that's skill. Is intelligence just skill? Is intelligence like a general form of skill? Maybe it's problem solving. I don't know. I don't know. I guess the better question then, I'm not going to change the title of the video though, because I think does AI make us dumber is a good clickbaity title, and that's, views. You need views, especially for people like me who don't have any. Does using AI to solve our problems make us less able? Well, that's the thing. That's the discussion. What is AI doing to us? Like what is happening to me when I use an AI? What's happening to my brain? I mean, for example, let's say, I don't know. I want to, well, this is something I had to do earlier today. I want to figure out how to back up some data on my computer. Now I've got two options. I have a spare hard drive, right? It's a very large one, and I have a lot of data that I want to store on it. This data is already in my computer, but I want to store it as a backup on this hard drive. Do I put this hard drive in my computer and connect it via SATA, right? So do I make it an internal hard drive, or do I connect it using the USB port that it has, right? Do I use it as an external hard drive? Now, to figure out this problem, I would have to, define some parameters, like what do I really want this backup to do? Do I want it to back up every day? Do I want it to be safe from viruses that may occur in the computer? Am I going to be backing up regularly? Do I want it to be like automatic? Do I want it to just happen and I don't have to worry about it? So this would require me to do some research, right? How have other people done these backups before? How have, other companies? What are the techniques that I could use? Basically, it requires me to put in conscious effort. There's no simple solution to this problem. If there were, I wouldn't be asking the question. I would have just done it. Like, for example, when I'm hungry, I eat. But there's no precedent for how do I connect this hard drive to my computer for backups. So what I did was I asked ChatGPT. I wrote out, my detailed description. I told it what I wanted. I wanted it to be fairly automatic, but I didn't really know what to do, right, for my use case. And ChatGPT presented me with a beautifully formatted and written response that answered all my questions and gave me a good point from which to research further. Now, by doing that, it gave me what I wanted, but I didn't have to expend effort to do so. So, there's a problem. That's what AI does. It takes the effort out of solving problems, or at least trivial problems. There are still a lot of problems AI cannot solve. Very many, in fact. I mean, an AI cannot tell me the meaning of life. It can give me some, summary of all the great philosophical arguments for and against whatever, but it can't actually give me a definitive answer. But it can give me a really good, answer for this particular issue. If you really, given what you've told me, I'm role playing as the AI right now. Given what you've told me, and given what you need from this, system, this backup system, this is your best option. That's plain and simple. And if I don't agree with it, I can do my own research from there, or I can ask it, well, what about this, or what about that? AI is outsourcing intelligence, and it's not going away anytime soon. Just as farming hasn't gone away because food got easier to, get. So I guess that raises another question. Is it wrong to outsource effort? Is it wrong to create tools that make life easier? Like, for example, is it wrong to drive to work instead of walking? You save like an hour or 2 hours, for some people even more. Is that wrong? Well, it's certainly not as healthy for your body. But in the grand scheme of things, what really matters, right? Do you need the money more? Do you need the health more? Or can you perhaps gain that health in the time you've saved? You can go to the gym with the time you save walking to work and work out your own way. I think that's the fundamental underlying thing here. I don't really know what to call it. My argument is that AI is the greatest thing that's happened to us in a very long time. But there will be a growing pain phase where we're not really going to know how to use it properly. Just like with phones, right? So many different attempts have been made to make a smartphone. There's so many different iPhone models. There's so many different companies that have tried. And the ones that succeed are the ones that are, the best sellers are the ones that succeed. I think there's a natural selection of innovation happening where products and services that are really good. I mean, this is obvious. I'm not an expert. You don't need to be an expert to know this, right? Things that work, survive. Human beings we've taken over the planet because we're really good at what we do. Survival and spreading and using resources and using tools. And I think AI is a next step in that, but it's a fundamentally different scale of innovation. It's not like we're invented a new shovel, Oh, now you can dig twice as fast. No, this is a whole different ballgame. Now you can literally develop the shovel twice as fast. We've accelerated innovation. We didn't just, next step. This is like next level, next room. Like now you've unlocked an elevator. And we're no longer climbing steps here. We're elevating. I don't know how to explain this, man. I could use all the analogies in the world, but in truth, there is no way to get this message across. But I like talking about it. I mean, it's cool. It makes me feel, I don't know, validated or something. I feel great talking about this kind of stuff. I think this is what the world is missing. And there's another facet to that too. I could keep talking, honestly. I don't want to stop. It's been 15 minutes. I want to keep going. Depression. I mean, oh man, my mouth is drying up and that's kind of gross. There's a mental health epidemic, crisis happening, right? Especially since COVID. I mean, that's what I've heard. Again, everything I say, I should probably add this as a disclaimer to the beginning of the video. Everything said in this video is my own, like, I'm not passing any of this off as fact. You can fact check my logic, you can fact check me, and I welcome any, if I'm wrong about something, please let me know, right? If I said something that is blatantly wrong, or if my logic is fallacious, that's a new word that I learned recently. If my logic is not good, please let me know. Everything I say is my own opinion. It's my own understanding of things. It's not objective fact. I mean, that's true of everything that anyone says. But then again, I just said it right now, so, What was I? Oh, yeah. There's a mental health crisis in this country. In fact, in the whole world, but particularly in the United States, as far as I'm aware. I mean, I don't know how it is in the rest of the world. I haven't really looked into that. And I'm no stranger to that kind of stuff. Obviously, I've had my days where I've just haven't felt that great. And I'm sure basically everyone who's watching this, if there's anyone watching this, has. Especially if you're Gen Z. I've heard that there's a lot of issues with I am Gen Z, that's why I say that. Gen Z is not having a great time right now. We're going through this. We're going through it, and it's not that funny. Right? I'm laughing and I'm trying to be all jovial about it, but it's not. It sucks. There's a lot of issues in the world. There's war. There's disease. There's health crises. Mental health is plummeting, and who knows why. And so what do? Well, AI comes around, and it's something you can just talk to. That's unprecedented. You can open up an app on your phone and talk to a person. You can text some being, and it will respond perfectly because it has been trained to do that. Exactly that. So imagine you're not having a great day. You're feeling particularly down. You've had a breakup, or you got rejected from work, right? You got fired, not rejected from, maybe your job application was rejected. Maybe you failed a class, or maybe you're just depressed because you just have that. You're just depressed, and that just happens. It doesn't have to have a reason. So what do? Well, what if you're completely alone and you have no friends or family to support you? What if you don't have money to access resources? What if you've tried calling the hotlines and you've tried going through the whole system and it just didn't work for you? What do you do when there's no options left? Well, what if there's another option where you can talk to this nebulous AI? Oh, it's an AI. And you tell it exactly how you're feeling, and it responds with perfect instructions and advice, and it makes you feel heard and seen. Not hurt, heard. What if it tells you exactly what you need to hear? Is that a bad thing? It's artificial, for sure. But then again, is the advice and is the meaning of its response lost because it's artificial? My screen just turned orange, by the way, because I have the nightlight thing on. That's why I'm probably a little bit redder now. Anyway, the point I'm trying to get at is AI is, because of its unprecedented nature, right? It's completely new. You can't liken it to anything that exists already because there's nothing like AI. It's a person, but that's not a person. That's crazy. It's literally made to mimic our intellectual function, right? It's made to mimic us. But there's no other thing that does that except us. In effect, we're creating a new species. It's like we're giving birth to a new type of being. I know this sounds really weird. I'm just using a lot of analogies. What if that AI, though, in this scenario that I just posed, where this person is suffering through a very heavy mental episode, what if it saves that person's life? It's not real, of course, right? It's not, it's not a human. It's not a therapist. It's not licensed. It's not qualified. But it gives that person advice, and it tells them exactly what they need to hear. I think there's value in that, even if it's not typical. So, does that mean that the person's recovery is... Because this links to my original question, right, of whether AI is making us dumber. This person just benefited from AI, but they didn't have to put in any effort. They didn't. They just typed out their message to a completely anonymous, well, to a robot that does not judge. Right? It's not a person. It doesn't judge. And that robot told them exactly what they needed to hear. It gave them exactly what they needed to hear. Like how you get water from a water dispenser, right? When you're thirsty, you get water from a water dispenser. You didn't have to earn that water. There was no effort involved. You simply placed your cup underneath the sensor, you pressed the button, and the water came, and you drank it, and that's it. Or how you go to the store, you put a $10 bill on the countertop, or you swipe your card, or you tap your phone, or whatever, and you get a hamburger. You didn't have to put in any effort. The effort was placed earlier when you worked to pay for it. But that's besides the point. This is instant gratification. This is a reward for a very little amount of effort. And just how that's a very complicated topic. I don't think there's an easy answer. I think that it has to be mediated. I don't think it's a good thing in every circumstance, right? You can generate AI generated stuff that isn't good, right? You can hurt people with AI. Of course, there's a bunch of bad sides to it. And I'm not talking about everything here. I'm not covering the full breadth of the AI revolution because there's a lot to it. There's a lot of implications. There's a lot of industries. Man, my mouth is so dry and it's weird. I don't want to, that's disgusting. Anyway, there's a lot of implication for life as in general, life as a whole, right? For human society, for how people interact with each other, for how people deal with their problems. And I think the logical conclusion to the AI innovation, to the AI thing, the AI boom, is a superintelligence. It's inevitable. It's coming. At some point, we will develop the technology, either whether it's a computer or an algorithm or both, that are strong enough to replicate a human mind. It will happen. And it might happen very soon. And I think it's very likely to happen within our lifetimes. Because, although it's hard to imagine, I was born 21 years ago. 21 years ago, there was no iPhone. There was no, there was no graphics cards. There were, but technology and society as it exists today did not exist. The internet was rudimentary, even back then. I don't even know if there was Facebook. Probably wasn't. And in just 21 years, that's a quarter of a lifespan, right? Our entire world changed. The human population blew up even more. We have 2 billion more people now. Or a billion, I don't even know. We have self-driving cars. In just 21 years. 21 years ago, we barely had electric cars. I don't even think there were electric cars. I think the Prius was the first one, and it came out in 1999. I think. I'm not an expert. Again, you can fact check any of this. But the sentiment that I'm trying to communicate here is the same. Advancements are rapid, or they have been in recent years, and they are only accelerating. Our computational prowess is increasing. Our computers are getting better. Our algorithms are blowing up in efficiency and performance. AI is getting freakishly good. Just a year ago, we had these choppy, crappy little AI-generated videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti. Now, you have people getting scammed by AI videos. I was watching a meme compilation, because, I'm a monkey. I need to see some stimulating content every now and then. And I saw AI-generated videos, and I didn't catch them at first. And they were literally not real. So, it's happening, whether we like it or not. Just like how iPhones and how neural implants and how everything is just going to keep getting better, whether we like it or not. I feel like an old person, but talking about all of this like it's some new crazy thing. But for people growing up in these times, it's going to be very typical for them. For me, computers and phones are not some, oh my god, whoa, I can't believe I have a phone in my hunga boonga, how do I use this? I can't, whoa. No, this is normal for me. I've grown up with this. This is typical. But for someone who's 60 or 70 years old, this might still be some, esoteric piece of technology they don't really understand fully. It's like, okay, this is, they all understand what it is, but it'll still feel a little foreign to them because it's not what they're used to. It's not what they grew up with. And that's how it's going to be with AI. I'm excited because I think superintelligence, well, there's a couple of things. First off, it's going to be able to cure every disease. If superintelligence, come on, let's be realistic here. An AI superintelligence will know everything. It will. Right? It won't know everything, but it will know all that we know. But it will be better at using what we know because it will actually, it won't have selfish ambition as long as we keep that out, right? If we have a maximally truth-seeking AI that doesn't care about, its own gain, right? What would an AI have to gain? Money? Why would an AI need money? There's no pleasure. It doesn't need to be pleased. It might invent its own emotions, maybe, because it might be necessary to have emotion if you want to be an intelligent being, right? So a superintelligence might invent that, or we might invent it for it, or, but could work hand in hand. But I think a superintelligence will be able to solve almost all of our problems. World hunger, world peace, um, technology, we will see a explosion. That's why it's called the singularity. It's the point at which its understanding will surpass our own, and it will be able to do things we can't do. So think of everything that we've done: nuclear bombs, nuclear reactors, cars, rockets, going to the moon, computers. Everything we've done so far has been us. We've done everything. We invented this. This is a purely human invention. Sure, we've used tools to do it, but all the tools, everything that humanity has ever done, was created by a human. But from that point on, when singularity arrives, that won't be true anymore. Even now, we've got AI generated things, right? But when singularity arrives, it'll be particularly significant because that's when it will be able to do things that we can't. For right now, AI cannot do anything that we can't. I mean, it can probably, do some things a little bit better, but those are all rudimentary and small and niche. It can generate pictures, but we can take better pictures. We can tell if that stuff is AI generated still. Even ChatGPT text, you could tell. There's a telltale sign. It's got a telltale, right? It might fool some people. It's getting better by all means, but at least in my case, I still think that it's not quite there yet. But only time will tell. I hope I've been recording my audio this time. I tried recording a War Thunder video recently. Oh man, it was so bad. It sucked. No, the video was great, but it sucked because at the end of the video, after an hour of hard work, and it's not hard work, it's a video game, but I put in a lot of passion to that video, only to realize that I didn't record my voice. Ooh, that really hurt. But it's okay because I'm doing this now, and I see my microphone volume bar sliding, so, it should be working. AI is making us dumber, for sure. But I think that's a good thing. I think we need to get dumber in some ways if we want to get smarter in others. I don't think it's possible for us to advance as a species or as people if we don't let go of things that are hurting us. I think depression, disease, anger, division, these are all negative aspects of society. We don't need war. We don't need people to die of starvation. We don't need people to argue and to call each other names. We do need debate. We do need disagreement. Absolutely we do. But we don't need to kill each other over it. We don't need to hurt each other over it. Just recently, I saw it's news. It's we can look it up right now. The lady who was in charge of Save a Fox. I want to do her honor to her name. I don't want to just say the lady. Save a Fox. Because this is really Michaela Raines. She committed suicide because she was bullied online. We don't need that. We don't need that. I don't think we need that. And there are thousands of other people, hundreds of thousands of other people every year that kill themselves. It's disgust. It's a horrible thing that's happening. I don't think we need that. I think AI will help us solve that. Imagine you don't need to argue with someone anymore. I don't know how it's going to be implemented, but I do know that a super intelligence that is intended to make life better for everyone, that is intended to solve the problems that we have, to cure our diseases, to help us overcome our differences, without eliminating them. We need differences, but to help us overcome those differences, right? To help us work together. That would be the greatest thing to happen to us in a very long time. No more world hunger. Imagine that. Now, of course, there are some other implications here, right? Will anyone have to work anymore? We'll have robots and AI. Will there be a need for a human being anymore if AI can replicate all of our functions? Well, that's different. That calls into question the role of human beings. And that is a direct, what is the meaning of life? And that no one knows. Well, I mean, I have my own ideas about it, which I'll probably discuss in a different video if this one does well, or if I like this. But yeah, it's cool. There's a lot of subject matter to talk about here. But this video is stretching a bit long. I don't think anyone's going to be watching this long. I think I'll put some royalty-free lo-fi synthwave. What do you guys listen to? What do people listen to? Probably some like cosmic funk. I love that. I love that kind of stuff. I listen to a lot of different types of music. Man, I wish I could talk about so much stuff, bro. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Well, is there anything else to be said about AI? Did I answer the question? No. And I think that's good. I don't think we need to answer every question. I think the point of life, well, I think questions are good to an extent. But in my case, the more I think about something, the more I try to fix or answer questions, the more complicated they get, the more questions I get. But if I have a specific goal, if you have a specific goal, now this of course this is no longer talking about AI, although it could be connected to AI because I'm a human, all right? I have an intellect, and AI is meant to replicate human intellect, so everything I do is relevant to AI, right? So you see, the more I think about stuff, the more complicated it all gets. That's just the way that I am. I don't know why I'm like this. I really wish I wasn't. It's a curse. It's 100% a curse. Thinking is hard. It's okay. That sounds very entitled. Thinking nonstop about everything it just sucks. I don't know if it's the norm, but I think about everything. I question everything. It leads me to be very anxious, paranoid sometimes, and I don't like it. I don't like thinking this much. That's why I like AI. AI makes me feel a little bit more secure in the world because it has the answers, or at least it has a lot of the answers. Maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know. It could be. It could be good. It could be bad. I think it's good. I think it's helping me to realize that you don't have to question everything. If something has an answer, even if it's not perfect, because no answer really is perfect. There is no perfect answer to anything in life, right? Because we don't know everything. How can you have a perfect answer if you don't know everything? See, man, I just keep going. I can't stop. All right, I am gonna call it here. I think because I honestly at this point I've run out of things to say, but my mind keeps talking. That's disgusting. I want to keep talking, and I don't think I don't think I can stop unless I physically forcefully stop myself. So here's the outro. Thanks for watching. If you did, this is just a random guy who's lost in life, doesn't know anything, talking about some random stuff, particularly AI. Particularly AI. God, I wish I wasn't like that. Particularly AI. Why do I have to talk like that, bro? Like an NPC. I'm not a friggin' Oblivion character. Actually, particularly speaking, particular testicular detection software. We'll see. Maybe I'll get better at it. I don't know. I asked ChatGPT actually about YouTube, and it said that making videos like these, where you talk openly and honestly about stuff, might get people to like you because people like honesty, right? People like realness, like people that are real, and I think I'm being real, right? I would hope that I'm being real. Am I real? Am I real, bro? Are you real? Huh? Yeah. Okay. 32 minutes and 31 seconds. Oh my god. I'm just going to upload this video unedited because I was talking the entire time, and going through this to try to edit it would be a disaster. But I will do this, actually. I'll do this outro, and then I'll do a preamble to the video itself. No, I won't. Why do I keep doing this? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. If I was wrong, if I presented any fallacious logic, if I said anything wrong, please let me know. If you'd like to expand on the topic, if you want to tell me some more, if you're an expert in the field and you happen to watch this video and you want to add something to it, please do. That's what we need. That's what I want most in my life. I want communication. That is what I lack. I don't have anyone to talk to. This is my last resort. If you have something to say, if you have some interesting thing, please, even if it's to disagree with me, please disagree with me. I beg you. Or agree with me. I don't care. Just talk to me. That sounds weird. I bid you all a good rest of your day. Goodbye.